It is 10 o'clock. Welcome in. This is Three Man Front on a historic day. You know, we talk so much about the legal situation in college sports each and every day on this program. And it finally comes to our own backyard as Charles Bediako. It came out late yesterday that he was looking for eligibility to come back and play at the University of Alabama. You remember the 7-foot basketball star. He was a very integral part of Nate Oates' team just a few years ago. Went off to the NBA, G League. Now he has gotten a temporary restraining order in Tuscaloosa. No big shock. It depends on what court, what judge you shop it to. And so he has been granted that temporary restraining order, and he will be eligible to play for the University of Alabama basketball team coming up Saturday. If they play, you never know with the weather, but if they're still scheduled to play Landrum, Bediako now, from a legal perspective, he can step foot on that court and play against Rick Barnes in the Tennessee Vols.
What kind of world are we living in? This is upside down. And if you're Rick Barnes, you've already got your scout, but you start implementing your game plan, and now you've got to game plan around not only an already Alabama talented team, but now a 7-foot Charles Bediako. You know, 7-footers are hard to find, but a 7-footer with skill set like Charles Bediako is really hard to find. You're going to bring in a seasoned guy. That's priceless. Why? Hey, if I'm Rick Barnes, Zakai Ziegler, come on, let's go.
Might as well. What does that hurt? And I mean, if you're Alabama, I mean, this is great, right? Because it's like a double-edged sword, right? Because I think as an Alabama fan, I love it. Charles Bediako is great since he left. What's been a comment you've heard a lot from Alabama fans? Man. We need a Charles Bediako type guy, now you can get him back. That's great. However, I think for the health of college athletics, this is horrible.
Well,
Not a fan.
We have talked about Mensa. We have talked about Chambliss. We've talked about Williams up in the Great Pacific Northwest. He got denied. You know, he was going to potentially go to LSU. Then Washington was going to sue him. But this is a little bit different because this is more of an eligibility, not so much an NIL or a transfer portal situation. Bediako did play in Birmingham. He played 5 minutes of G League game this last Saturday in Birmingham. He scored 4 points. He grabbed 3 rebounds. And so now he literally can step foot on the court and play for the University of Alabama coming up on Saturday. Now, there will be another hearing next Tuesday, the 27th, and we'll see if that injunction does stay where it currently is, which would allow him to play. So I guess Tuesday's the line of demarcation. So you might get one game out of him, right?
You get one game. I'm going back now to thinking about the Bull Durham, the movie. When Kevin Costner, Crash Davis comes back, but he's been in the major leagues, those conversations on the travel bus with the Alabama players. So, Charles, tell us what it's like. What's it like?
And, I mean, we were talking about it before the show, but you do wonder if you're a Noah Williamson, a Keaton Bristow, one of those guys you've worked for this opportunity, and now guy's coming in at the last second. Like, Nate Oates has to figure that out.
Yeah, but if you're one of those guys, what are you going to do?
So last night,
you're getting paid.
The NCAA released a statement last night in which they said the NCAA is aware of media reports that a lawsuit has been filed against the NCAA by Charles Bediako. Mr. Bediako signed 3 NBA contracts after competing in college for 2 seasons. The NCAA has not and will not grant eligibility to any prospective or returning student athletes who have signed an NBA contract. Eligibility rules ensure high school students get a shot at earning scholarships, and we will continue to consistently apply and defend those rules. So the NCAA released that statement last night. I have not seen anything in the last 15 minutes new from the NCAA, but the headline, once again, Charles Bediako, he has been granted a temporary restraining order in Tuscaloosa court that will allow him to suit up for the Alabama Crimson Tide on Saturday against the Tennessee Vols.
Not even... You think about what that could mean. Just take how much this could help Alabama, even if for one game. But you take something similar like Auburn. What are they lacking? They're lacking one of those bigs. Not even take Janai Broome out. What if they just had a guy like Dylan Cardwell back?
Sure.
Those meaningful experience at that position. It's going to be interesting to see the fallout from all of this because most of it does usually center around college football. But now, and college basketball spilling over into college basketball, and especially at a place like Alabama, that gets a lot of attention.
Well, it has not worked out very well for Baylor. Tom Izzo went crazy when Baylor added a former NBA G League player. That has not, all of a sudden made Baylor a Final Four contender. So we'll see what happens here. I mentioned it yesterday on the show, and I know a lot has happened over the course of the last couple of years with the House settlement, the changing landscape of college sports. But at some juncture, you would like to see the commissioners of these leagues, whether it's Greg Sankey, whether it's Tony Petitti, Brett Yormark, Jim Phillips, that they actually have a little, I don't know, little bite to their bark, so to speak, where they can like step in and they can like call Alabama and say, you know what, this is not a good idea. Like we're not going to allow this to happen. You know, and I mean, I agree with Conrad. I know we're joking around like, okay, great. You know, Alabama's now, got a 7-foot center. But in the long run, I think we all agree that it's bad. It's bad for college athletics, period.
Goes back to some of the things that I hate about college athletics are some of the things that I enjoy about college athletics now.
Yeah.
When you're an Alabama fan, you get Bediako back. Sure, it's 2 thumbs up. But as you're saying, probably not good in the grand scheme because it continues to go down this road.
No.
It's all in the athlete's favor.
All right, so he's the one that broke it not too long ago, about 30 minutes ago. Nick Kelly from AL.com. He is going to join the program momentarily as we will discuss the very latest with Bediako. It is interesting because part of what was filed by Bediako's legal team says had Mr. Bediako had more foresight to see the paradigm shifting changes coming to compensation for NCAA athletes, he likely would still be on campus playing at the University of Alabama right now. Well, in all due respect, I mean, that's every former player. I mean, you can go back 3-4 years ago. I mean, heck. I mean, I know Tua Tagovailoa was making a lot of money in the National Football League, but he still has some time left in his eligibility. Does that mean that Tua Tagovailoa could come back and play quarterback at Alabama? I mean, see, the precedence of all this is just crazy. Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline, Nick Kelly joins us. So, Nick, as this story started percolating yesterday about Bediako trying with his legal team to get a TRO, and then it comes down this morning, he got it. How surprised were you how quickly all this came together?
Yeah, I mean, not surprised in the sense of a TRO. I've done a lot of legal studying and reading and talking to people who, actually have law degrees. So I've been, kind of studying up on this myself. But a TRO, a temporary restraining order, essentially is viewed as an emergency action. So something that needs to happen quickly. Like, hey, this needs to happen right now. Like, this can't wait. And I think the term that's used is irreparable harm. And the argument was that it would have irreparable harm to his finances, and the season is going on, and so it's an emergency type of order. And when you make that request, so I figured it would come down pretty quick. But yeah, this is something that's been percolating, I think, for a few weeks, to be frank with you. And yeah, finally, I think they got the legal ducks in a row and are making the attempt now.
What prompted them, Nick, to go ahead and pursue this legal recourse?
Well, Alabama essentially tried to go through the NCAA and get him reinstated, but the NCAA denied that. And so with most things, when the NCAA has noticed something, people take it to court. So that's why we're here in this spot right now.
Nick, in regards to Saturday, I guess because of the news that came out just a few minutes ago that we anticipate that Bediako will get some playing time on Saturday?
Yeah, unclear as to what the role is going to look like, what, involvement can look like. But, I mean, he's been playing in the G League this year. I mean, as late as last week, he was in Birmingham playing against the squadron in the G League. So it's not like he's out of playing shape. It's not like someone just got off their couch and, hey, you can play basketball again. Like, he's been playing. And so how that works minutes-wise, how they would work him in, we'll see. But yeah, he is available to play, and Alabama can use him how they see fit.
All right, so moving forward, and I know it's anybody's guess when it comes to the legal system and judges and courtrooms, but your best guess, Charles Bediako, do you believe that not only Saturday's game, but the remainder of the season that he's on that roster?
Yeah, I'm not sure, and I know you're asking for a guess, but to be frank with you, I just know kind of what can happen from here,
right?
And I'll explain that. So like the preliminary injunction is what he's trying to get, and if he does get that, that's what will be ruled on in a hearing next week. if he gets that, there's no timetable for that. Whereas the TRO, and hopefully I haven't lost you yet with legal terms, but the TRO is a 10-day thing, or until there's a hearing. So there is a time limit set on that, but a preliminary injunction can go on for weeks, months, years even, before it gets figured in a courtroom or gets decided in a courtroom. So yeah, it just all comes down to if he gets that preliminary injunction granted. This case does not technically have to be resolved for him to play the rest of the season. That's all he's looking to do.
Right.
So in theory, he can just get this injunction, play out the season, and then he might end up losing in court at the end of it, but he will have played anyway. So that's kind of part of it, is you can almost wait out the NCAA with some of these things. And so, yeah, that hearing next week is very crucial.
So have you heard through the grapevine that perhaps there are other players that are in a similar situation like Bediako that may try to go down the same road? And would Alabama be interested?
I mean, it's always possible. I mean, that's what's so fascinating with this moment, guys, is this could open up a ton of doors, and it could totally be a just tip of the iceberg moment of just changing just this sport. And that's this sport, but the NCAA and college athletics. And so this is not just a, hey, does Alabama get Charles Bediako back, or does it get help in his front court? No, this could drastically shape college athletics. And that's what makes this case so fascinating, and why the NCAA, as they put out in a statement, and by them denying them reinstating him, are against it. And I won't get into the merits of it or what have you. Just this is what's been said and what's been done. But this would alter what college athletics have been, maybe more than any other thing that's happened so far.
Nick Kelly from AL.com joining us for a few more moments here as the story is just breaking over the last 30 minutes that Charles Bediako has been granted a temporary restraining order in Tuscaloosa, in which he will be eligible to play on Saturday against the University of Tennessee. While we have you for a moment, I know this is the breaking news, but as the transfer portal closed last Friday, I know it was a holiday weekend, and I know compliance offices have 48 hours to get all the paperwork in on folks. Do you believe, in regards to big names from the Alabama football roster, that it's pretty much set that those guys will not be leaving, because we've not heard anything new from the transfer portal in regards to maybe a Ryan Williams or anybody else if they were looking to leave?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard of anyone, but it doesn't mean that someone couldn't have slipped in or snuck in. So I think today's kind of the last day or so that you may hear, just because a player athlete tells the school, hey, I want to enter the transfer portal, doesn't mean it's going to immediately happen. It has to be processed and all that stuff. And then with the holiday weekend, so yeah, I think today is about the last day that you would expect to see that, but nothing that I've heard. I do think that things have settled down a good bit. You've seen some of the coaches back out on the road recruiting, and yeah, I think that things are starting to calm down after some really crazy and choppy waters for 2 weeks.
That is Nick Kelly. You can follow his work at AL.com. Nick, I appreciate you jumping on real quick. I know this is a breaking news story, and you're all over it, so we appreciate it as always.
No problem, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you so much. That is Nick Kelly from AL.com. He joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Lots to talk about. Charles Bediako looks like he's going to be suiting up for at least one game for Nate Oates and the Alabama Crimson Tide. The fallout and what people are saying nationally, we'll get to it. Three-man front continues on Jocks.
It is 10:18 on a very busy Monday. Breaking news right out of the top as Charles Bediako has been granted a temporary restraining order. He will be on the court, we all assume, against the Tennessee Vols coming up on Saturday. Weather is improving, the forecast, at least what we've seen over the last 30 minutes or so, in regards to the ice storm of the century, maybe trending more farther north, which means the Tuscaloosa-Birmingham area may just have cold rain. So the game against Tennessee, as of this moment, is on as scheduled.
And it's still cold outside, which means that it is still flu season, and Train wants to help make your home healthier with their Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner. It removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles, including those causing virus, and it's 100 times more effective than standard air filters and 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. So go find a dealer near you today online at Train.com.
Well, needless to say, this is going to be a very interesting story to watch because you saw what happened. Tom Izzo lost his ever-loving mind when the former NBA G League player ended up at Baylor University saying that he was going to call Drew and say, hey, what's going on down here? Well, I wonder how many phone calls Nate Oates is going to get, or how many calls Greg Burns is going to get, how many calls Greg Sankey's going to get. You know Greg Sankey can't be happy. I mean, they're trying everything in their power to hold on to the remnants of the way college sports used to be, and this is just absolutely spatting on the face of the way that they're hoping to hold on to.
Well, think about this. Potentially, you could have guys that are leaving early. They never play in the NBA. They sign G League contracts. They're still making money. They're still in the game. But if they still have eligibility, so could schools technically, whether it's above board or under the table, you set up deals with guys where they're just kind of in a warmer for you, and in case you need them, they can come back. I mean, what is like right now, Charles Bediako to come back? What does his NIL deal look like?
See, that was gonna be my question. Is he just playing pro bono, like for the love of the game?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
So you think Alabama gave him a little kiss?
Hey, this is what you would have made last year.
Somebody affiliated with Alabama probably gave him a little kiss.
Or they said, hey, listen, because how much more eligibility does he have?
From what I saw, if
two more years?
No, this would be it. From
This
what
would
I
be
saw,
it.
this
Okay.
would be it.
I thought he had 2 seasons
He would have
left.
the rest of the
Well,
year.
he played 2 seasons in Alabama, right?
That's what I was reading. Somebody, I think it was maybe Nick Kelly's article on it last night, and from what I understood, this would be it. But I could be wrong.
I mean, he might not get 2 games, much less 2 more seasons, but.
Well, and the funny thing is, he'll play on Saturday. The hearing's on Tuesday. They play Missouri Tuesday night. Like, he literally might come back for 1 game, and that's it.
Yeah. Just reading over what his legal team had put forth to the court, had Mr. Bediako had more foresight to see the paradigm-shifting changes coming to compensation for NCAA athletes, he likely would have still been on the campus playing for the University of Alabama. When the NCAA recently began to reinstate players with G League experience, and even players who had entered and been selected in the NBA draft, Mr. Bediako saw this as a chance to right a wrong decision that he had regretted over the past 3 years. So this is what his legal team presented to the judge into their legal paperwork, and the judge today granted them a temporary restraining order. Bediako spent 2 seasons with Alabama's men's basketball team from 2021 through 2023 before he declared for the NBA draft. He made the SEC All-Defensive Team in 2023. He was a central piece of Alabama team that earned the #1 overall seed in the 2023 NCAA tournament. He went undrafted. He joined the San Antonio Spurs organization on a 2-way deal. He never saw time with the Spurs, but he did play in 5 games with the Austin Spurs in 2023 and 24, the G League affiliate. He also spent time with the Grand Rapids Gold in the G League the next season with 34 games and 34 starts. Then in 2025-26, Bediako has played for the Motor City Cruise. He's already enrolled at Alabama, and he was granted this morning a temporary restraining order to step foot on the Coleman Coliseum floor on Saturday.
You can imagine nationally, there's a lot of criticism coming the way of Charles Bediako and the kid from Memphis. I believe he's being noted. Help me out. Was it Wiseman? James Wiseman?
He was like a top 3 pick.
Yep.
In the NBA draft.
But a lot of folks with a lot of negative reaction to this, and just going back to the narrative of college sports continues to implode.
Well, it's interesting because, and I know this is, so I anticipate any day now that Trinidad Chambliss is going to get a TRO in Lafayette County Court in the state of Mississippi. And so when that happens, I wonder how many people are going to be celebrating. This is the contradiction of so many people when it comes to this business, because I think the overwhelming group of folks are going to say that Trinidad Chambliss coming back for another year
is good for college football.
Absolutely. They're going to applaud that.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, they're going to slam the Bediako being able to come back. Just like folks are in an uproar over Mensa, going to Miami. Well, that case is going to be settled in Durham County Court in North Carolina. And we'll go up to North Carolina in a couple hours and get the very latest of what's going on there. So it's just interesting how many different angles we have going on eligibility issues. And at least today, in a court in the state of Alabama, the first time that we've had something like this happen in our own neck of the woods.
Yeah.
That the NCAA lost today again.
And I think it's easier maybe for people to pull for Trinidad Chambliss just based on where he came from, as opposed to Bediako being a highly touted prospect, a 7-footer. Where was he originally from? Was it Canada? Did he come from Canada?
Bediako?
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, I think you're right.
But a highly touted guy. And then he chose to leave. He chose to go and enter his name into the NBA draft, as opposed to a Trinidad Chambliss. There was a question whether he even played that 1 year at Ferris State, working his way up, reserve spot. A little bit of difference, but you could somewhat compare the two.
But don't you agree everybody will applaud Chambliss when he is granted the TRO?
I've said it on the show. I would like to see Trinidad Chambliss play another year of college football.
Yeah, no, and I think that would be great. And it's also funny because we're already seeing people that are, I can't believe Alabama's doing this, or Nate Oates is like, he's setting back college athletics because, again, like we just talked about, when it happened with Baylor, at least in this part of the country, right, most people don't pay attention to Baylor athletics. So it's just funny that now that this is happening with Alabama, a lot of people are losing their minds. And I felt like it was about a 2-hour news story when it happened with Baylor, but now because it's Alabama and it's this SEC, everyone's in an uproar about it.
Yeah, and no disrespect, but it's not like Zach Edey is joining Nate Oates in Alabama.
You're
right. Not getting the guy that was 7'5" from Purdue.
Well, there's a reason he's coming back to college. No offense. It's because you weren't good enough to play in the NBA.
But he's still 7 feet. He's really talented.
Yeah, he is. He'll average 6 points and 4 rebounds again.
But so he's a body, and he alters shots.
Absolutely.
We were actually in a meeting before we saw the news. It broke right in the middle of our meeting, and Landrum's first thing he said was, "Man, can you imagine how pissed off Rick Barnes is right now?" Getting ready for an Alabama basketball team is tough in its own right because Tennessee hasn't played well, but you're coming to Coleman Coliseum playing one of the top teams in the country. And now,
oh, by the way.
Oh, you got to now. Oh, all right. Let's break out the Bediako tape from 3 years ago to figure out how we're going to get around that.
It's a difference maker for sure.
Jason Caldwell just tweeted out, and I love these tweets. Nathan King, he's had some great stuff, and Jason Caldwell just literally tweeted out. He said, "I think Charles Barkley has another year of eligibility remaining. Might be worth a look at this point."
Yep.
Hey, we talked about it before. Tua Tagovailoa, he's got time left. I mean, I don't think Conrad wants.
I think we just let him go on his merry way.
Yeah.
Tua has time left. Johnny Football, does he have time left?
Yeah, he should have a year left.
Mm-hmm.
I would think.
Come on. Who else would we like to see?
Has Lane Kiffin recruited?
You know who I want to bring back? You know who I want to bring back to SEC basketball, along with Bediako? Marshall Henderson.
That's a good one.
Marshall.
Oh man, who was the guy for Kentucky? Shebue.
Yep, Oscar Shebue.
That was one. There's a few guys out there that I'm sure would like this. That's when people brought up the James Wiseman thing. That would really be the one because that guy, he has an NBA career. Like he played in the NBA significantly.
Yeah.
Auburn went on the road last night, got a big win on the road. The basketball team did 78-66 against the Ole Miss Rebels. Keyshawn Hall, 19 points. He had 11 free throws last night. Tahad Pettiford had 17 points. Auburn shot 54% in the second half. The Tigers hit 32 free throws. They hit 82% of their free throws.
And how about this? Last 2 games from behind the arc, they were 4 of 36.
Mm-hmm.
2 of 19 in the previous game, and then 2 of 17 last night.
They're currently 12th in the SEC in three-point shooting. They're hitting 32% of their three-point shots.
They played, watching that game last night, though, I think that was more of what Stephen Pearl probably wanted. Physical, mucking it up in the paint, playing good defense, winning games 78-66 as opposed to 97-94.
I'm not taking a shot because you played the schedule that you have, but the schedule has worked out really nice for Auburn because they played South Carolina, who they had beaten 9 times in a row. Mm-hmm. They met at 10. Last night was the 10th consecutive win by Auburn over Ole Miss. So South Carolina and Ole Miss now tied for the longest win streak by an Auburn basketball team against another Southeastern Conference foe. Now, the next 6 games, a little bit different because you're at Florida, you got Texas, at Tennessee, Bama, Vandy, and at Arkansas. So
yeah, if you could go 3-3 with those,
that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Because they're now 3-3 in the SEC, 12-7 overall. So that's a big one coming up this weekend. It seems like to me, watching Florida over the course of the last 2 weeks. Now, again, they were playing LSU.
They're
last
finding
night,
themselves, though.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
They went to Nashville, did what they did, and LSU's just a bad basketball team.
Well,
it's just a bad program.
And even with Florida, with the pieces that they had coming back, you don't have Walter Clayton, you don't have some of those guys. So it takes a while for these guys to kind of get things together. But watching them last night, I think Florida's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think now they're probably Vanderbilt's cooled off. Like, that was a fun story. And they're still good, right? But, it was a fun story. But they've, had a little bit of a rough couple of weeks. I think Florida now is reminding everybody, they're still the top dog in the SEC.
Yeah, as Conrad mentioned, Arkansas at home, and they took Vanderbilt to the woodshed, 93-68. We mentioned Florida, easy win against LSU. How about Georgia? Do you know Georgia? I was just looking over some SEC random stats.
It was a good win.
It sure was. They won 74-72 in Como against Mizzou. Georgia is number 1 in the league in points scored per game. Alabama's number 2.
Yeah. It's really good.
I mean, Georgia's averaging between 94 and 95 points a game. Now, I know they only scored 74 last night in Como, but that was a big shock to me because I'm so used to seeing Alabama up there at number 1, and Alabama's actually number 2 in the SEC in points per game.
That's why Mike Griffith was so fired up about Georgia basketball yesterday.
That's just really weird.
It's just been a long time since we really said anything about Georgia basketball. Them making the tournament last year, didn't they get Gonzaga in the first round?
I think you're right.
They had a crappy draw.
Yeah, it was not good. And all of a sudden, and you got to start wondering. And I mean, I know he had a good season last year, but all of a sudden, Oklahoma's 1-5 in the SEC. They lose to South Carolina.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Porter Moser, got to meet him when we went out to the Final Four and did our coverage. Great guy. Looks totally different than his personality. Great to be around.
They don't have a Jeremiah Fears.
No, they don't. And that was the one thing that saved him last year. Is Oklahoma was one of those teams they couldn't really play defense, but every now and then they go on a heater and they could outscore you. I think Porter Moser's in trouble.
Yeah, 1-5 in the SEC. So we've only got 2. We had a lot of games last night in the conference. We only got 2 tonight. Texas at Kentucky. That's at 6:00, and then you got Mississippi State down playing buckyball. Yep, 8:00 is the tip-off.
That's a lot of maroon.
Yeah.
Guess I'll be at home alone tonight.
So it'll be a doubleheader tonight on the SEC Network. Texas at Kentucky, followed by Mississippi State at Texas A&M. We will get to your text messages.
People
Many
mad.
of you, people are chiming in on the Bediako situation. We're going to talk to our good friend, Brian Edwards, at 10:45. The voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Chris Stewart. What a day for him to be on. He'll be on at 11:00. We'll see if he's dusted off his old Charles Bediako file.
What if Bediako was with him when we called him?
That'd be great.
Hey,
put
there's
Charles
somebody
on.
here that wants to talk to you guys.
That'd be great. We will talk to him. We'll also go to the Triangle. No, not the Bermuda Triangle, but we'll go up to the triangle in North Carolina, which is known as the Greensboro, Durham, Raleigh area, as we're going to get the very latest on the Darian Mensah situation there at Duke University. Trey Wallace normally with us on Wednesday. We've had to reschedule some stuff with Trey. He will be on to kind of, put a bow on things in the coming days. He just won't be on today. So we got a lot going on. Courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450.
Have you ever put Bailey's in your coffee, Pat? You don't drink coffee.
I don't drink coffee.
Have you ever had Bailey's? Just take a shot of Bailey's.
I have.
I'm stereotyping because you're Irish.
Thank you.
Bailey's is good.
I eat raw potatoes.
No, you don't.
It's like out of the ground.
That's gross.
Hey, guess what? The New Year's sales event is happening right now at Courtesy GMC. And if you've been waiting for a perfect time to buy a brand new GMC, well, this is it. How about saving up to $15,000 off? And that's a lot on the MSRP of a Sierra that's in stock now. I'm talking AT4s, Denali's, SLTs. They got over 100 to choose from. 9.5 acre lot. They are ready to serve you right now at Courtesy GMC. If you prefer an SUV like I do over a truck, which is cool, Courtesy GMC's got plenty of options, whether it's a Yukon XL, a Terrain, or Acadia. I drive the Acadia AT4, and I have been in love with that vehicle for the last 3 years. You can too. Every brand new GMC there at Courtesy comes with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty, gives you the confidence mile after mile. So get by and see them right off of I-459 exit 32. It's a short drive, no matter where you're listening to this show right now, to Courtesy GMC in Trussville. Visit their website, courtesybirmingham.com. Josh Gargis, Drew Lawley, Richard Gullidge, all his fine folks ready to help you at Courtesy GMC.
Big story this morning, Charles Bediako, former Alabama center, now G League player. Now it appears at least one game for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Granted the temporary restraining order, the TRO, so he should be available for this weekend's matchup with the Tennessee Volunteers. That takes us to the text line, 205-834-9450. Our first one comes in from a listener, looks like South Alabama. Says Alabama does the same things other programs are doing. And now it's bad for the sport. Y'all are consistent at hating on Bama. I'm not hating on Bama. How are we hating on Bama?
I love when we get those texts because
we hating on Bama?
Because we normally get accused.
You literally
of being,
said as an Alabama fan, I love it, but I think ultimately it's bad for college sports. I think it's bad for college sports. That's not hating on Alabama. That's Alabama taking advantage of something right now, and until somebody tells you can't do it, do it.
And did we not talk about the Baylor situation when it happened and say that it was a bunch of hooey just like this is? I mean,
we've been consistent feeling that this is not good for college sports.
yes.
Just because it happened in our own backyard.
Again, as an Alabama fan, I am excited. As a college athletics fan, I am horrified.
But again, maybe it does go back to, my theory is the more of this that happens across all sports and college athletics, the quicker we get to some kind of resolution or the steps towards getting resolution. I'm guessing that would come at the federal level.
Who knows? Maybe this will be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and then everyone can thank Alabama for making this.
And Charles Bediako for being pioneers.
Well, see, the problem with waiting on the federal government, if anyone thinks anything's going to get done, this is an election year. Midterms, it would have happened last year. Nothing is going to happen to give these guys any kind of relief, period.
This one reads, Nate Oates just opened Pandora's box. This one reads, if Bediako plays, but then his case gets overturned, are those games forfeited?
No, because at the time he was ruled eligible.
He was able to play.
Yeah.
Also, if anybody opened Pandora's box, is it not Scott Drew? Or maybe there was someone that did it before him, but that was the first time that I think we were all aware of it.
Once again,
I would cite the snowboarder from Colorado, Marsh. It was Marsh. Who was the other one that was listed in some of the initial cases? I blame the O'Bannon brothers.
There you go.
What Alabama's doing is they're doing exactly what is being afforded to anybody else to do.
Well, it's just like we talk about with NIL, and you don't have to like the way that things are done, but if you're not playing on an even playing field with everyone else, you're behind the eight ball. Like you're putting yourself at a disadvantage.
The student-athlete era is officially dead. We can all say that they are paid employees of the school. Carson Beck said it himself. This is the new reality. I think for some, it's always been the reality. Just saying.
I mean, at least Bediako's enrolled in class. Like, he's actively a student there.
Mark says Bediako to Bama will disrupt the chemistry of the team.
We brought that up. It might.
The Bama transfer is a Bush League move. Just because it can be done doesn't make it right. Bad look for Oates.
See, I disagree. I mean,
he wants to put his team in the best position to win.
I mean, the whole system is corrupt. Like, how can you like cherry pick which is bad and which is good? You see what I'm saying? I mean, the whole thing's rotten.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think anything worse than Nate Oates than I do Coach Drew.
It'd be the same thing if Auburn called Denver Jones tomorrow. If you're an Auburn fan, great. But I think we all agree it's not good for the health of the sport. But if you can do it.
It's no different than LSU spending $45 million on their football team when there's supposed to be a $20.5 million cap. Okay?
Correct.
I mean, it's just the whole thing's rotten. College sports to the core, it's rotten. Period. So why does this shock people that this is happening?
Don't have to like it, but
you've got college coaches calling players on other teams during fall practice, in between practices, trying to get them to transfer.
Do we not remember Caden Proctor at the Iowa basketball game 2 years ago? Like openly saying that?
See, Iowa started it.
Oh, Kirk Ferentz. It always comes back to him.
All right, when we come back on Three Man Front, we will talk to our good friend Brian Edwards. He'll give us the very latest on the NFL championship games coming up this weekend and some basketball picks. That's all straight ahead right here on Jocks. It is 10:47. Welcome back to Three Man Front on this historic. Who thought this morning we'd wake up and all of a sudden Alabama's got a 7-foot center ready to suit up against the Tennessee Vols Let's check with our main man, Brian Edwards. Brian, as a Florida Gator, I bet you're worried now, right? That Bediako's back and Alabama's going to win the SEC over your Florida Gators.
I just want Kyle Trask back. If this is what we're doing,
You want Trask back in football?
Yeah, I want Trask back.
What about basketball? If there was one player you could bring back, and
Vernon Maxwell, is that who you want? Vernon Maxwell?
That's a good one.
He's back in the good graces with the Gators. He's been rocking some Gator gear lately.
That's right.
Since we gave him his records back. Who would I want back?
Who was the guy with the ponytail that was on one of the national title teams?
Was that Shinsis? No, he had the mullet.
No, Dwayne Shinsis. That was the 80s.
Yeah.
He had the mullet.
He had the flat top and the mullet.
Yeah.
Wait, who's the man bun? Wait, what'd you say?
Yeah, who had the man bun?
That's Joakim Noah, right?
Yeah, Joakim Noah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Walter
I don't
Clayton.
know those guys. Al Horford.
Al Horford. That'd be a good one.
That's a good one.
All 40 years of them.
Did what's his name play there? I'm trying to remember. Who was the guy that played there that was
Corey Brewer, Joakim Noah, Torian Green, Al Horford, and Lee Humphrey was our starting lineup for the back-to-backs.
What about Teddy Dupay?
Oh, man.
Oh, nah.
You don't want him back?
That was
Teddy ball games and teasers?
Yeah.
Hey, let's start there with Alabama against Tennessee. Tennessee's been kind of topsy-turvy the last couple weeks. Alabama needed some time off. They got a lot of injuries, and obviously they were shopping for a 7-footer that they've got now. Bama is a 5-point favorite at home against the Tennessee Vols. You like this one way or another?
Well, that's what Ken Palm has projected. So we don't always know we don't know the books are going to come out at that number, but it's usually really, really close. And if Bama is 5 or fewer on Saturday, I will be on Bama. Like you said, Tennessee is kind of struggling here. I mean, what a deflating loss after that huge lead against Kentucky. They were, didn't cover and were fortunate to win outright against A&M. They got run out of the gym in Gainesville. They did beat Texas by 14, but then, lost by double digits in Arkansas. So, I mean, it's been a struggle for Tennessee in SEC play. 2-3 so far, and now a tough road game at Bama. Could easily be 1-4. Was fortunate when we get the 2 OT win against the Aggies. So, yeah, Bama 5 or fewer, I would be on them on Saturday.
You've got another one coming up this weekend. Auburn taking on your Florida Gators on the road. Not going to be an easy matchup. This is not the same Auburn team we saw from a year ago. Right now at -10, man, I would jump all over that. How long has it been since Auburn won in Gainesville? 96?
Really? Is that accurate?
Oh, yeah.
Pearl never won there? Wow. I didn't realize that. But
you're loading up now. You're calling your mortgage banker right now.
Right. So, I was preparing for my pod today, and we talk about Saturday's SEC, and I made my lines. I made Florida 13. I mean, look, I think Florida's playing, the guard play was bad early, but now the guard play is getting better. And then the guards off the bench, Zay Brown is emerging as a legitimate, ninth player and a fourth guard. And Klobzar had 18 last night. So the backup guards are even playing good now. Florida's won 5 in a row. And, 4 of them were by 15 or more. And it's been pretty tough competition. I mean, Georgia 25th in Ken Palm, Tennessee 23rd, LSU 42. And obviously we only won by 4, but it was at Vandy. And I just think Florida is rolling now. And it's not too late to get your future ticket on the Gators because we do repeats in hoops.
Yes, you do. Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider joins us here on 3-Man Front. Okay, so let's talk about the AFC and the NFC championship games coming up this weekend. As I'm sitting here looking at it, with the Broncos taking on the New England Patriots, now that Bo Nix is out, how much has that maybe changed your mindset with Denver hosting New England with him being out?
Well, first off, I've been cold as ice in the NFL in the playoffs. I hope your listeners have been fading me because I've been awful. But with that said, what a brutal handicap this is. I mean, Stidham hasn't played since 23, but I will say, oh gosh, excuse me. Sean Payton really got ahead of the story. You know, he had already done his media obligations. Then he goes back in the locker room. He finds out Nix is done. And then he decides, oh, I'm going back to the media guys, and I'm going to express some confidence in Stidham. And he certainly did. And then you think about it. Remember when Teddy Bridgewater with the Saints a few years back went 5-1?
Mm-hmm. He's
had success with backup QBs. So, you know, I'm kind of leaning Denver, especially, but I would be patient. I mean, it's 5.5 at some places. Maybe it'll creep up to 6. And New England has traditionally struggled out there in altitude. Even a lot of the Brady teams struggled out there. So, again, I'm struggling in NFL right now. I don't have much feel, but I'm kind of leaning Broncos.
What about Seahawks? Seahawks and Rams. I'm kind of feeling the Seahawks right now.
I am too, kind of, but I just don't really trust Darnold.
Nobody else does either.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what I said last week when I had the Niners. What a horrible pick that was. So
that was terrible, Brian.
That was, it was beyond terrible. And it was, I had a nice buzz and was enjoying my Gator victory on Broadway in Nashville. And then I got to watch that mess after the heartbreaker with the Bills when Josh Allen was so bad. My goodness. So anywho, yeah, I'm leaning Seattle right now.
All right, so you like Seattle, you like the Broncos. The Nebraska basketball team, they're, I mean, every time that I've played the other side of Nebraska, I've lost this year. They're an 11.5-point favorite against Washington. Are you still rolling with the Huskers here? Are they going to keep this trend going, especially covering?
I think so. Let's go minus 11.5. Not against some first half action as well. 6.5, 7 on the first half. They're on a 4-0 against the spread run, including a 90-55 home win over Oregon. And that 4-0 spread run, 3 of those games on the road, they went at Ohio State, at Indiana. They smashed Northwestern the other day. They own 10 wins by 12 or more. They beat Wisconsin by 30 at home, Creighton by 21, and Washington's lost 4 of 6 on the road. And then regardless of venue, they've lost 4 of their last 5, 3 of them by double-digit margins. All about Nebraska tonight.
All right, well, we got less than a minute, but Global Something Life Arena, Grand Canyon, Bryce Drew.
Yeah, San Diego State 7-foot big man and rim protector is out. Let's go with Grand Canyon, which just beat Utah State by double digits for Utah State's first loss in Mountain West play. And then hypotheticals for Super Bowl: Seahawks minus 8.5 at Denver. Seahawks minus 3.5 versus Patriots, not at Denver. You know what I meant.
Yeah.
Rams minus 9 to the Broncos, and Rams minus 3.5 to the Patriots.
Sounds like San Diego State wishes they had a Charles Bediako.
Yes, I'm sure they do.
All right, Brian, enjoy the weekend, and hopefully you'll turn things around on the NFL side, but your college basketball, as always, has been right there, right on it. I always appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, all. You have a good one.
Appreciate it. That's Brian Edwards, Vegas Insider. Coming up next, the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Chris Stewart, will give us his thoughts on Charles Bediako back with the Tide.